Hi everybody, I'm Tara Curry. Welcome to another Stay Creative with OPC. Today I'm going to be doing a really fun 100% cotton round that's a great little gift for the eco-conscious people in your lives. It's a very quick project, and the supplies that you'll need are 100% cotton yarn. I'm using sugar and cream, a crochet hook, and I am going with an H, which is recommended on the yarn label, a tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. So come with me, we'll crochet and be done with this project in a few minutes. Hi everyone, we're gonna get started on our crochet cotton round. And we're gonna learn some techniques today. We're gonna be learning the magic loop or magic ring. And what that is, it's a technique in crochet that, so when you're crocheting anything in the round, you completely close the circle in the middle, instead of starting with a chain and connecting it and then you have a little hole open. To be honest, either way is fine for this project. So if the magic loop or ring intimidates you, go ahead and start a circle. You would chain 4 and connect it and then go forward with the pattern if you're more comfortable. But I think once you learn the magic loop, you'll see it's easy and it makes a nice tight circle in any of your projects. So for the magic loop, you're going to start by taking the end tail of the yarn, and I like to pinch it at my pinky finger. You're going to wrap the working yarn, which is the yarn connected to your ball or skein of yarn. Bring it around and make an X on the back side of your fingers. And then pinch it again, so you'll see I've got an X on the back side of my fingers, and if I flip my hand over, you've got 2 parallel lines of yarn. So what you're going to do from here is you're going to take your crochet hook and go under the first line of yarn, grab the second and pull it through and give it a twist. So now you have a little twist wrapped around your yarn hook, and you'll see there's an X still on the top of my fingers there. You're going to grab the left and pull it through the little loop you made. And there is your magic ring, and it looks big and it looks floppy, and that's okay. Don't be afraid to fiddle with this and get it out of your way. Another thing I like about the magic loop is that as you're starting your first circle, you're actually capturing your tail end of the yarn, so it's already woven in for you, and at the end all you have to do is snip it off, and it's great. So to start our cotton round, we're going to be working in the circle, and I'm going to start by crocheting 6 single crochets into the magic loop. Before I get started, I just want to talk about the math of crocheting in circles. We're doing single crochet today, but this would also work with double crochet for circles. If you're starting with 6, what you want to do every time you start a new circle is increase by 6. So your first round is going to be 6 single crochets. The second will be 12. The third will be 18, and on and on. And you can do that as large as you want to. When you increase, a little tip, if you stop increasing and let's say you got to 18 single crochets and just continued to single crochet those 18 stitches, you would build up walls, and that's an easy way to make a basket. So let's get started on our cotton round. This is a very quick project. It's a nice little gift if you give somebody a stack of 4 or 5, and it makes a lovely face wash. I know Lion brand makes some scrubber yarn that has little plastic bits in it, and if you make it a little bit larger than this round, that makes fantastic pot scrubbers, really nice even on non-stick pans. So I've got our magic loop, and again we're going to single crochet 6 stitches into our magic loop. It's very loose. If this is the first time you're doing it, it feels a little funny, but I promise as you go along, you'll be able to adjust it. And again, it's a really nice way to close up a hole in a project. So just a little reminder, single crochet is, you insert your hook through the loop, pull through yarn. You'll have 2 little loops on your needle, or hook, and you'll grab your working yarn and pull through both those loops. Again, the magic loop is floppy. It's supposed to be that way, or magic ring, so feel free to go in and kind of adjust it. I'll give you a little preview of the end. If you pull your starting or your tail end of the yarn, you'll see the big loop closing, and that's how we tighten everything up at the end. So I had one single crochet. I'm going to do my second, insert the hook into the loop, pull through the yarn. You'll have 2 loops, pull through both loops. And I like to kind of snug it up after each one. That's 2, and I'm going to go ahead and single crochet the next 4. That's 3. 4. 5, and our 6th one. So I've got our 6 single crochets on our magic loop, and here comes the magic of the magic looper ring. You just pull your tail end and you close that center hole. So now we have 6 single crochets, and you can always count your stitches on crochet by counting the little V's. And I'll show you on this finish round, it's a little bit clearer to see. But you see the little V's, and each one of those is a stitch. So to get started, what we're gonna do is we're gonna close our little circle. Right now we've got our 6 stitches, we pulled our magic ring tail or magic loop tail taut, close that circle, and I am going to go into the first single crochet. Got a rogue thread there. And I'm going to pull through, and this is called a slip stitch. And what you do is you yarn over like a single crochet, but instead of leaving both loops on, you just close it up, and now you have a closed circle. And you can see how my center opened a little bit with the magic loop. You just pull the end tail taut, and it'll close it right up for you. So we're going to begin. We started with 6 stitches. We want to increase by 6 for the next round. So that gives you 12. In order to do that, we're going to have to do 2 single crochets in each single crochet stitch. You can kind of pull and see where your yarn was inserted to help get it back in for that second stitch. Give myself a little bit more yarn here. So I just finished the first round, and we've got 12 stitches now because we added 6 to our first 6. We have 12, and by doing that, we've increased it. And now we need to add another 6, so our next stitch count for the third round will be 18 stitches. Now, a little tip, if I was making a basket or something larger than this cotton round, I would actually insert a slip stitch holder, or sorry, a stitch holder into the beginning of my round, because once you get into your 12th round, you're counting 72, 84 stitches. It's a nice little note to give yourself, this is where I start the following round when it gets bigger. Because this cotton round is so small, we're only going to go up to 30 stitches total to get this size cotton round, which is approximately 2 inches. So I don't put the stitch holder in for this small of a project. But if you feel that you're having a problem determining where the beginning or end of each round is, feel free to do that. So as you increase, again, a little bit of math behind the crochet circle, we're going to increase by 6, giving us 18. We needed to double the first round, so we did 2 single crochets in each of the 6 stitches. For the third round, to get us to 18, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet of the round, and then the next single crochet we're going to do 2. So that kind of gives you a group of 3, and that's how we'll do the pattern for this round. 1 single crochet in a single crochet, 2 single crochets in the next single crochet until we get to 18 stitches. So first we're going to do our single crochet in the first loop. In the next single crochet, we're going to do 2 single crochets. And now we have a total of 3 stitches for our new round. So again, I would use a stitch holder if I was going larger, but when I'm doing something this small, I actually use the multiplication tables that we learned when we were in elementary school. So I know that I have to go from 12 to 18 stitches, and we're just going to do that by single crochet in 1, 2 single crochets in the following stitch until we get to 18. And it's in multiples of 3 for this round. So I just did 3. I'm going to do my next. Again, it is a single crochet, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And now I'm at 6, and I'll keep going until I finish this round. And there is 16, and my last 2, 17, and 18. All right, so now we're going to start our third round. We are going from 18, we're going to add 6 stitches, so we know we need to get to 24. And to do that, we are going to first single crochet into the first 2 stitches of the round. So there's 1, 2, and then the next round we're going to do 2 single crochets. Sorry, not the next round, the next stitch. So we do 2 single crochets into the first 2 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets into the next. We just added 4 stitches to our round. We're getting up to 24. Notice 4 times 6 is 24. So again, this round is single into single, single into single, 2 singles into the next single. And now I've got 8 stitches in this round, and I'll continue like that. And 17 and 18. So we just finished our third round. We have 18 stitches or V's. If you ever wanted to stop and count, that's a nice way to check. And with single crochet, it's a very easy read to see your little V's. So we just did 18 stitches. Now we're going to go next to 24, as I mentioned. To do this, you're going to do single crochet into the first 3 stitches and then 2 single crochets into the following. Okay, so we just finished our round where we have 24 stitches, and now we're going to get to 30 stitches, and this will be the last round for this crochet. So this time we're going to do single crochets into the first 3 single crochet stitches and then 2 single crochet into the following stitch. This is going to get us to 30 stitches, which finishes this round. So we go single crochet 3 times, and then 2 single crochets into your next stitch. And we did 5 stitches. And just to give you an insight to what I'm thinking in my head while I do these rounds, again, only when I do something this small, otherwise I do use a stitch marker for the beginning of my round. But we just did 5 stitches. I know I need to get to 30. So in my head, I'm counting to 5. And I know when I do 5, so 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 will be 2 stitches in a single crochet. So it's the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and then 9 and 10 in that next single crochet. Because we're getting to 30, we're increasing by 6 each time. And so basically I'm thinking 5 times 6 is 30. So we're at 10. So in my head, I'm counting 11, 12, 13, and that multiple of 5, 14, 15. That kind of singles me to do those 2 single crochets in a stitch. So I'll finish this round. There's stitch 28 and our last 2 in the single crochet together. So 29 and 30. And you are now done with your little cotton round. So to finish off the cotton round, I will insert my hook into the next stitch as if we were starting a new round. Instead of doing a single crochet, I'm going to do a slip stitch, which again is just insert your hook into the stitch, pull through a loop, and pull it through that loop that was already on your hook. And then from here, I'm going to snip the tail end of my yarn and just pull it through that loop and give it a nice little tug, and it makes a little knot, keeps it nice and secure for you. And then all we have left to do is to weave in our ends, and I am using a really nice metal tapestry needle. And you caught your tail end of the yarn as you were doing the magic loop in the beginning, but just for extra security, I do like to take your starting yarn and for the magic loop, what I do is I look and see which direction it's pulling from, and if you yank it, you can tell. So this yarn is wrapped around, it's clockwise in this instance. I mean, if you were to flip it over, it'd be the opposite way, but give it a tug to see where it's coming from. And what I will do is I'll just catch a couple of stitches in that first round. And pull it through, give it one more little tug, and we're secure there. So snip the end of your yarn. And then for the end piece, what I like to do on all my crochet as well as knitting is when I'm weaving in a tail end, I like to do a zigzag pattern. So I'll go down and up. And because this isn't a round, I'm going to actually go to the side, as you'll see at the end, and I give it a little tug before I snip the yarn when I'm weaving in an end, just so I know that if the project is stretched a little, my tail end isn't going to pop out on me. So again, I have the end yarn on a tapestry needle. I'm just going to go down through the first stitch below it, I'm going to catch the next stitch below that. I'll work my way over through one of the side stitches. And then back up again. And again, this just helps to ensure that your yarn is secure. What's nice about this project being all the same color, if you're doing a multicolor yarn like self-striping, you might need to look a little bit better. Make sure you're really going underneath the stitches to hide that so you don't see the color difference. When you're using a solid color yarn, it's a lot more forgiving. So I wove it through. Again, I like to give it a little tug just to make sure when I snip it, the yarn, the tail end's not really going anywhere. And then cut it off, and you're done with your cotton round. And this makes, like I said, a great gift. If you give a stack of 4 or 5, tie a little piece of twine around it with a lovely little piece of lavender, it's a great little bathroom present. They make great little face scrubbies. And like I said, if you go a little bit larger and use that Lion brand yarn that has a little, or it might be Red Heart, but the little scrubby pieces in it, they make great scrubbers for nonstick pans. So thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you for the next Stay Creative with OPC.